Coco Gauff reflects on Riyadh win. I was determined not to repeat my WTA Finals struggles. The lights of the Riyadh arena glowed like a constellation over the center court, casting long shadows and magnifying the weight of the night. Every seat was full, every voice buzzing, every heartbeat synced to the rhythm of a match that felt bigger than tennis, bigger than sport. It was a WTA Finals, where pressure doesn't just exist, it breathes. Coco Gauff knew that better than anyone. She felt the tension settle in her spine as she paced behind the baseline, eyes locked onto the familiar blue hard court. This was the same tournament where she had struggled before, the same tournament that had exposed her weaknesses, tested her maturity, and left scars she wasn't sure would ever fade. But scars don't weaken champions. Scars make them unbreakable. And tonight, Coco Gauff came to Riyadh not to repeat the past, but to rewrite it, the weight of old wounds. The year before, Coco's WTA Finals journey had ended early, the memory sharp as glass. She had been overwhelmed by the pressure, by expectations, by the sudden crash of form when she needed her best tennis the most. She remembered crying after her loss, curled up in the locker room, whispering to herself, "Why can't I play my best here? Why does this tournament feel cursed?" She remembered the articles the next day, Gauff's WTA Finals disappointment. Another early exit. It haunted her for months. This season, when she qualified again for the finals, she promised herself one thing: I won't repeat my struggles. Not this time. Not in Riyadh. And that determination burned inside her like a quiet fire. Tonight's match, a test of heart. Her opponent, Ons Jabeur, stood at the opposite baseline, calm, composed, dangerous. Jabeur was a magician on court, unpredictable, loved by fans, capable of twisting a match in ways no analyst could predict. The perfect opponent to test Gauff's resolve. The perfect opponent for a night of redemption. Coco bounced on her toes, inhaling deeply. Her coach's words echoed in her ear. You've done the work. Trust it. First set, fear versus fire. The match began with explosive energy. Jabeur hit drop shots that died on the court like whispers. She served with deceptive spin. She mixed pace, rhythm, height. Coco struggled early. Her timing was off. Her footwork felt a half-step slow. Her forehand sprayed errors. Jabeur led 3-1. The Riyadh crowd grew loud for Ons, their cheers filling the arena like thunder. Coco felt the familiar panic creeping in. Not again. She squeezed her fist so hard her nails pressed crescents into her palm. She shut her eyes briefly. Then the most important thought of the night hit her. I'm not that Coco anymore. She opened her eyes, sharp and steady. She forced the rallies longer. She pushed deeper into the court. She injected pace into her forehand, ripping winners that echoed through the arena. The tide shifted. Gauff broke back for 3-3. Fans stood up. Cameras flashed. The momentum flipped like a wave. Coco's confidence grew with every strike. She chased down drop shots like lightning. She punished short balls with brutal precision. She took the first set 6-4, but she didn't celebrate. She knew Jabeur still had magic left. Second set, Jabeur's resurgence. Ons came out like a storm. She flicked forehand slices that barely rose above the court. She lobbed Coco perfectly when she rushed the net. She carved angles that sent Gauff sprinting helplessly. Within minutes, Jabeur led 4-1. Coco could feel her pulse thudding in her ears. The past flashed before her. Last year's collapse, last year's panic, last year's disappointment. The crowd roared for Jabeur. Her coach signaled calmness, but Coco felt the pressure like a tightening rope. Then she whispered to herself, "No, not this time." She stepped forward on returns. She changed the height of the ball. She added spin, then ripped flat. She shortened rallies instead of chasing every point. She adapted like champions do. Point by point, she clawed the match back to 4-4. The arena felt electric. Every gasp, every shout filled with tension. But Jabeur wasn't finished. She held serve. She broke Coco. She took the second set 6-4. The match was going to decide her. Final set, the battle of belief. Coco sat in her chair before the third set began. Her chest rose and fell rapidly. Her fingers trembled. But her mind was clear. All year long, she had worked on her mental game, on breathing, on resetting, on refusing to spiral into fear when things slipped away. Her sports psychologist had told her, "You don't erase the past. You build on it." Tonight, she finally understood. She looked up at the massive screen above the court, saw her face, saw the determination in her eyes, and said under her breath, "I'm not repeating my struggles. I've learned too much." When she stood to the final set, something in her walk changed. She walked like someone who knew the ending, the set that defined her season. Jabber struck first, heavy, tricky shots. Coco responded, fast, fearless defense. Break point for Jabber. Coco erased it with an ace. Break point for Coco. Jabber erased it with a slice winner. The score climbed, 2-2, 2-3 to 3-4 to 4. Every point felt like a universe inside itself. At 4-4, 30-30, Coco launched a shot of match, and the backhand down the line so perfect, so bold, that Jabber stood frozen as the ball landed on the chalk. The stadium erupted. Break point. Jabber tried a drop shot. Coco sprinted, reached, lifted the ball over the net with soft touch. Winner, 5-4. She was serving for the match, serving to prove she was no longer the girl who buckled under WTA Finals pressure. The game of redemption. The first point, ace. The second, Jabber missed long. The third, Coco smashed a forehand winner. 40-0. Triple match point. Her hands shook. Her throat tightened. Her eyes prickled with tears she refused to let fall. Not yet. She tossed the ball. Served wide. Jabber returned short. Coco stepped in, crushed a forehand into the open court. Game. Set. Match. Gauff. The arena explodes. Coco dropped her racket, fell to her knees, covered her face with both hands. After the arena, alone with her victory. Hours later, the arena was empty. The crowd's gone. The noise faded into the night. Coco sat alone in the locker room, curled on a bench, ice bags on her knees, sweat drying on her skin. She looked at her reflection in the metal locker door. A warrior, a young woman who faced her fears, a player evolving into a legend. She whispered, "You didn't repeat the past. You rewrote it." Her phone buzzed. A message from her dad. "Proud of you, champ. You closed a chapter." Then another from Serena Williams. "This is what growth looks like. Keep going." Coco felt her chest warm with pride. She wasn't the same player who struggled at the WTA Finals. She was a player who conquered Riyadh. A new chapter begins. As she finally walked out of the arena, the night air hit her face like a blessing. The city lights shimmered below. The desert wind brushed her cheeks. The silence felt sacred. She whispered into the night, "I'm not running from the WTA Finals anymore. I'm ready for the fight." And somewhere in bedrooms across the world, young girls watched her highlights, clutching their rackets, dreaming of courage. Because Coco Gauff wasn't just winning matches. She was teaching the world what resilience looks like. The next chapter of her career, it would be written with fire. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share. Till next time.